It's certainly a great time to be a Persona fan right now. Joker made his way into Smash, Persona 5 Royal comes west next month, and Persona 5 Scramble The Phantom Strikers comes out in Japan in like 2 weeks. After the first full trailer, it's no exaggeration to say that the community was blown away by just how much it seemed to set itself apart from your traditional Musou spin-off. All things considered, we're pretty well fed right now. At least I thought we were when on January 27th a certain someone decided to kick our front door down.
Daddy's home.
That's right, Atlus announced a free Persona 5 Scramble demo in Japan for February 6th, letting the public try out the first hour of the game for themselves. And because the world ain't flat, I got to try the game on February 5th. Even with the flashy trailers, I'm sure there were plenty of people skeptical that it would just end up boiling down to the same old Musou game with a different coat of paint. But after playing through the demo 3 times already, I have to say they completely won me over. I don't even care for Musou games, so you know, that kinda says a lot. It's been a while since I've gotten a chance to make a video with this sort of frantic, basically unscripted energy to it. That clip wasn't supposed to be in there. You weren't supposed to see that. Go away. But I enjoyed myself so much that I felt compelled to get a video out ASAP. Also, I don't know if you know this, but YouTube is some cutthroat shit, so the sooner you talk about the big new thing, the better. I should also mention that as of the time of recording this, I've only played the Switch version, so the footage you see is all from that. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm gonna get some quick stuff out of the way to catch anyone up about what Scramble even is. Or Strikers, apparently the localized title might be that. I can't see the future, so for now I'm just gonna call it Scramble. To keep it brief, the game is a collaboration between Omega Force, you know, the developers of the Dynasty Warriors series, and Atlus. It takes place the summer after the ending of Persona 5, where the Phantom Thieves have reunited after months of being apart. The metaverse seems to have popped back up in the form of jails, leading the Phantom Thieves to travel the country on a road trip to visit multiple cities and steal the hearts of the kings that run them.
King? Yeah. Here's your crown.
Jails are essentially like the palaces of P5, but on a much larger scale. Atlus and Koei Tecmo are marketing this as a full-blown sequel to Persona 5, and while it's far too early to see if the story will live up to that concept, the gameplay, music, and aesthetics certainly do. So what, Cullen, you ask, makes this stand apart? Well, I'm getting to it, alright? Be patient, God. Unlike every other Musou spin-off, this is more of an even split between the gameplay styles of Persona 5 and Dynasty Warriors. At a quick glance, you might dismiss the game as style over substance, but take a closer look and you'll quickly see that's not the case. You know, like Persona 5. Funny that. Combat feels fluid and wonderful all around, even at the Switch version's locked 30 FPS. Running around feels great, the dash is nice and responsive, there's a double jump, and plenty of options to attack enemies in the air. You get to mow down waves of enemies like you would expect from a game like this, but the influence of P5's movement and Persona systems change a lot more than you might think. You aren't just running around mashing attack until everything dies though, you get to zip all around the battlefield using the environment to your advantage. One part in particular that really stood out to me is that there's a part near the end of the demo where you kind of like zip onto a platform above a group of enemies, and then you hit it to send it crashing down below, causing massive amounts of damage. What I feel really sets Scramble apart though from your typical Musou game is its take on the Persona system. In addition to your normal attacks, hitting the right bumper freezes time and pulls up the Persona menu. Just like the original game, the Persona skills cost either your SP or HP to use. You can level up your party's Personas as you gain EXP, letting you learn new skills from them too. And before you say anything, yes, Joker is still a wild card, and in classic SMT fashion, the first Persona you get is a pixie. Persona skills are essentially how you do your AoE attacks, and can do massive damage, especially if you hit an enemy weakness. When you hit a weakness with either your gun or a Persona attack, you get the chance to follow up and do quick all-out attacks, which have been shortened so the pace of battles is kept snappy. Based on the single boss in the demo, there are also special all-out attacks that can pop up too that look stunning. The biggest change to the Musou formula is how you encounter enemies, a change that I really appreciate. Enemies aren't just thrown all over the map for you to constantly fight, but instead pop up when you run into some guards roaming the area. This puts a greater emphasis on making fun levels for you to explore with the parkour style movement of P5, and keeps the combat from growing stale by giving you little breaks in between. I also appreciate that the EXP screens after fights have been shortened greatly. Don't get me wrong, I love the victory screens in P5, but for an action game, their inclusion would slow down the pace significantly. There's still plenty of style though in battles thanks to the Showtime attacks and Master Arts. Showtimes are character-specific attacks that look great, and you get to see Joker's a few times in the demo. He's the only character we get to play in this first hour, but it's worth mentioning that the full game lets you play as any of the Phantom Thieves. Lastly, the boss fight showed off these cool little unlockable skills called Master Arts that let you extend your combos by accomplishing certain conditions. In this case, you can combo a gunshot directly into a special aerial attack, and it'll be fun to see more of these in the full game. Anyway, I think that's about all I have to say on the combat. It balances dungeon exploration with fighting enemies pretty well, and I'm interested in how it'll hold up in the bigger scale cities you seem to be able to parkour around in the full game. The real icing on the action game nipples is the music, which I shouldn't even need to give you a lengthy spiel about because everybody knows that Koei and Atlus excel when it comes to music, but I'm gonna do it anyway. You bring those two together and, big shocker, all the music slaps. I know I said the same thing in my PQ2 video, and I'm likely to say this every time a new Persona game comes out since Atsushi Kitajo is a musical god, but Jesus Christ, this might be the best OST in a Persona game to date. Look, call me hyperbolic all you want, but Persona music makes me expand dong. The highlight of the whole OST that I've heard so far is the remix of Last Surprise, which honestly might surpass the original in greatness. But it's worth noting that all the brand new music just blew my goddamn mind. Give it a listen. It's kinda So fun fact you might not know, this is actually not made with Atlus's Persona 5 engine. This is made with Koei Tecmo's engine. And yeah, from what you've seen, they've adapted the original P5 stuff pretty well. You wanna know what they adapted perfectly though? The UI. Hot damn, these feel straight out of Persona 5, but this time you get Joker hanging out with all his buds in the menu dimension whenever you need to pop in and adjust all your gear. Koei has gone to great lengths to make Persona fans feel right at home. The Phantom Thieves get to explore the cities they visit in the real world, and the demo shows just how well Koei has perfectly recreated the feel of the original game. You get to see Shibuya and Yongen-Jaya recreated in Koei's engine, and honestly it feels exactly how you remember it from P5. It's super impressive, and apparently in the full game you get to spend these segments hanging out with your friends and doing a variety of side missions. You know, like a Persona game. That was sure a lot of praise, but if I were to offer a critique of my time with the demo, it's that it doesn't seem like there's an option to skip cutscenes or dialogue. I hope this is something you can do in the full game because that might hurt replayability quite a bit. And since a New Game Plus option has been confirmed, you can see why this is worrisome. There's also always the possibility that the gameplay loop might overstay its welcome and grow stale, but that's honestly impossible to tell from just this first hour. Again, I don't see the future. So yeah, Persona 5 Scramble is shaping up to be the big good. It's a fresh direction to take for a Persona spinoff and could potentially be the best Persona spinoff ever made at best, and could just be a solid Musou game at the worst. Which, that's not bad. It certainly leaves a great first impression, and I know I'm sure as hell going to be replaying this non-stop until the full game releases. I'm planning to cover it in detail when it comes out on the 20th, so hey, if you want to hear more of my gushing then, why not subscribe? That'll be it for me. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.